Okay, today's video is about a dispute. It's kind of like I do on my show, Dishing Drama. Dana, a beef of the week, has come to a conclusion, finally, after years. So you may not be aware of this, but Mohamed bought a giant piece of land literally on the end of a hiking trail, Franklin Canyon. Little did I know at the time that Yolanda Hadid's ex, Mohamed, who's Lisa Vanderpump's friend, remember she had the party, she went to his party at his big mansion before Yolanda was on the show, camels and stuff. Anyway, I think Kyle does the splits again. So his plan with this piece of property was he was going to build several mansions and flip them on this giant piece of land with this killer view, or he was going to build one big sprawling mansion and do a flip. Okay. But then Ronald Richards, yes, the same Ronald Richards, that you guys know. And Ronald's like 10 degrees of separation from most things in LA. Anyway, what else? Oh yeah. So Ronald Richards takes, Mohamed on behalf of a client that basically wanted to buy the land and return it back to the city or the state or however that works so that it could stay a natural environment. And probably, I'm guessing that the person that was behind Ronald Richards also probably had a property in the area and he didn't want that monstrosity mansion in his view or whatever. There's always an agenda, I think. Anyway, Mohamed believed that Ronald Richards was representing, through an entity, Diane von Furstenberg's son, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But this ongoing court battle, kept happening. And of course, people were complaining to the city. And so they were making it difficult to get permitting and a million problems for Mohamed. And so Mohamed was spending more and more money on legal. And he eventually has this property held in a company, which a lot of people do. And the company, which had been funded with money to do the project, ends up going bankrupt. And so they have to liquidate the asset. So the scandal is that Diane von Furstenberg's son, Prince Alexander von Furstenberg, supposedly is behind the company or creditor that Ronald Richards is representing in the case called Give Back, which purportedly was slowly trying to buy the debt of this property to take it over. I don't know if to, make it part of, keep the hiking trail natural or to build on it himself. But it would appear that the goal of this Give Back was to actually buy it or acquire the debt to give it back to the community so the hiking trail would be uninterrupted. Either Diana von Furstenberg's son loves that hiking trail because he does it, or it may be that his house would have been blocked by the monstrosity that Mohamed was going to build in that area, and he didn't want that to, encumber his view or have that in his location. Anyway, one way or another, Give Back is getting a percentage of the $33 million they were due because the property was sold at auction to someone, I don't know who, would love to know, for $33 million. And so Ronald's client at least will get a percentage of that money along with some other creditors that may be in line ahead of him, like the bank on the land or whatever. But Mohamed is probably so upset. But the good news for Mohamed was that this whole litigation and bankruptcy and everything was stretched out for so long that the property values have gone up so much that at least Mohamed, probably got out without any scars on this one. Crazy. But anyway, isn't it funny that Mohamed Hadid and Ronald Richards are secret enemies? Now, Hadid has said back in December that he believes that there's a conspiracy in a way against him and this property, and that someone's trying to take it off him for, not a lot of money. And he actually went as far as to say that there are a lot of people that don't want to see the property sold for a fair price. So he sees an initiative happening behind the scenes Would love to know what that is from Mohamed himself, but I doubt he'll call me. You think he'll call me? Probably not. Anyway, very interesting. The $34 million offer has to be approved by a court because it's related to a bankruptcy. So the Real Deal is a real estate, media outlet. And they did a story on this, a few stories, but one in particular, the most recent one just this week, they dropped some really telling information. It says, Hadid did not respond to a request for comment, although last month the developer, who was also recently embroiled in a protracted fight over another project, the now demolished spec mansion known as Strada Vecchia, he was turning his attention to projects abroad. So he's getting out of Beverly Hills now and trying to do stuff probably in Dubai, I'd guess, or London. The buyer was revealed in court documents as a Delaware entity called Castle Real Estate, LLC. The individual or people behind the corporation remain undisclosed, but legal filings suggest the involvement of von Fostenberg, the wealthy investor and businessman who is now the director of the media and digital holding company IAC. The 52-year-old von Fostenberg, a longtime LA resident, is the son of fashion icon Diane von Fostenberg and the German royal Prince Egon von Fostenberg. He is also the stepson, of billionaire Barry Diller. A lot of scandal on that. Anyway, Alex von Fostenberg first surfaced as an alleged player in the Beverly Hills land saga last year when Hadid, as part of a civil suit, claimed the businessman had reneged on a deal. This is really important. Von Fostenberg, who lives in the area and often hikes in the park, was interested in conserving the land. Hadid claimed that the two met at a restaurant in Century City to discuss a possible deal. According to Hadid, von Fostenberg agreed to pay $20 million for a portion of the land to keep for preservation, only to renege and form Give Back, an alliance with Richards in an attempt to wrest control of the whole property. So get it all. Hadid's civil suit, which accused von Fostenberg and Richards of orchestrating a, quote, malicious and fraudulent scheme to essentially steal the underdeveloped land, was later dismissed. So this is what Mohamed really believes happened. But he had no real evidence to prove it. Give Back has never disclosed its funding, and von Fostenberg's possible involvement was never clarified. Although Castle Real Estate's members are not disclosed, court documents show that the manager of the entity is the Beverly Hills attorney Michael Eisner, who has represented von Fostenberg in a filing. The court-appointed trustee, while asserting that the buyer is acting in good faith, also indicates the buyer's connection to Give Back. Out of full and complete disclosure, an attorney wrote for the trustees informed that various entities that have indirect economic interest and ownership interest in the buyer also have indirect economic and ownership interest in Give Back LLC. Eisner did not respond to an interview request, and von Fostenberg could not be reached. Richard said he did not know who the members of Castle Real Estate were and had not been in the talk with buyers. Now, in another article, Ronald says he did speak to one of the buyers and that they said they're going to leave it a natural preserve. But remember, there's a lot of land here. So, we're not talking it's possible they're going to parcel sections out. So meaning, a percentage of the land will be left to the hikers and then the rest will be developed. Something's a little strange here, Greed is always present in Los Angeles, and sometimes it's masked by good deeds. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but I'm saying it happens a lot in LA. The buyer's paying $1.7 million in cash, and they're going to take on the $555,000 property tax. And they're taking on the debt obligations, which includes $33 million claim from Give Back. And that claim, Richards emphasized, now effectively secures the long-touted preservation goal, even if the entity buying it has not explicitly disclosed its intentions or revealed its backers. They're not going to watch me beat Hadid and win this case and then have a new fight develop the property. That would make no sense. That's what Ronald said. You'd need my cooperation, and I'm sure that whoever put up the money has the same sort of global plan for this project as we did. We definitely are not. There's more here. There's something happening here. I'm not as optimistic as Ronald is about the outcome of this parcel, if it truly is related to Alex von Fostenberg, because Alex seems to be a little bit, he's an interesting character, but let's just say this. As I look at his, just a simple search, it would appear that in Wikipedia, it says Alexander von Fostenberg began his career in 1993 as a trader on the risk arbitrage desk of Allen & Company. He is now the chief investment officer at Ranger Global Advisors, LLC, a family company he founded, which focuses on opportunistic, value-based investing. Opportunistic, value-based investing. Now, I found this really weird scandal about him. I just want to throw it in this video. And that is that his wife, who's now, okay, so this quick scandal I'm going to throw in. Allie Kay, back in 2009, supposedly was caught flirting in Malibu with Reggie Miller. And Alex got so jealous, this is von Fostenberg, that he had a plane fly overhead in like Malibu with the letters like stop, like hit Reggie Miller, stop pursuing a married woman. Okay, so this man went out of his way to literally have a plane fly that and embarrass Reggie Miller and all this stuff. Anyway, it was escalated to a legal team and they ended up having the lawyers hash it out. Now, Allie has been married to Alex ever since, but I mean, that's kind of dramatic behavior. I don't know. I mean, and supposedly the wife sent these really scandalous looking pictures. I'll post it here. Why not? Anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? Did Mohamed get his property swindled from out beneath him? Is the Fostenberg guy really behind this acquisition through Give Back? Is he really going to let it be just a nature preserve? Is there another buyer, or is the buyer really the people that were also the creditor? Or, what's happening here? It's so many like scandalous components. I know it's a complex one. You have to kind of like think, but wow. Anyway, Ronald, I'm sure after doing all this PR around this case about it being given back to the hikers, would be pretty PO'd if someone didn't do what they were supposed to. So we'll see how this plays out. Now that the case has been done and the judge has approved the sale for $34 million, we'll see what happens to Franklin Canyon.